Hey everyone. So I guess the whole unite the right isn't going so well in Halifax after all. And why would it? Even though the media, the political pundits, the propagandists, the opportunists, the establishment, the crony corporatists, the fake conservatives, even though they've been all out there espousing the political rhetoric that, oh, we don't need Maxime Bernier. Oh, no, he's only got like, what, 2 or 3 people that follow apparently. Yeah, we're not going to miss him. Don't worry. We're going to unite the right without Maxime Bernier. Well, how's that working out for you? Yeah, the ink hasn't even dried for all the publications that have now just barely learned of this massive revelation that Maxime Bernier has quit the Conservative Party and starting up his own. He's going his own way, right? Going to do politics differently. But even before, like I say, the ink has dried, they're already writing the man off. But it's like, wait a minute, you folks don't forget that Maxime was leading in the polls, like the internal polls, not like outsider polls, internal polls by the CPC, the Conservative Party of Canada, that said that Maxime was going to win. And you know what? He just barely lost, right? It was what, 50.5% to 49.5%. Basically, they gave Scheer that small edge that made him the leader of the Conservative Party. And what was the result of that? And how did it come to fruition? Well, of course, it was just because of supply management. A bunch of crony corporatists and a bunch of so-called fake conservatives that chose to support Scheer instead of standing on principle and supporting Maxime. That's the only reason why Scheer won, folks. I hate to break it to you, but if you don't know this already, then wow, are you ever out of touch? But to suggest that Maxime doesn't have any support and he's going out all on his own and he's just going to be all left out there all by his lonesome, wishful thinking and serious dreaming on behalf of those in the established media or those who are politically opposed to libertarianism or politically opposed to genuine liberty and freedom in Canada. And don't just take my word for it, folks. Even the folks at the National Post that have been reporting on the Conservative Convention are recognizing that reality. Headline from the National Post. After supply management cut from debate at Conservative Convention, some members ponder backing Bernier. The chair tried to wrap up, but several resolutions had not been addressed. This raised the ire of several dozen delegates. You're driving us out of the party, one said. And like I say, folks, these are just the delegates at a Conservative convention, right? So very much political insiders, very much, beholden to the Conservative Party. These are people that choose to go to the Conservative convention. And even some of them, apparently dozens, apparently a bunch of them are saying, no, we're not on board with this shit either. So think about it. Even if you can't even contain those who are, your supposedly loyal, obedient servants and promoters of your party, well, think about what the general population represents. Think about the pushback that's going to come from the 37 million Canadians who don't align, or at least the largest percentage of that 37 million people that don't align with this crap at all. You conservatives, like I said, you're always at the back of the bus, usually regardless. Now, matter of fact, you're not even on the bus anymore. Matter of fact, you're way down the road. Matter of fact, I might have to put on binoculars to see where you're at some point in time. But don't worry, Bernier is going to shine because he's the beacon of liberty that represents that side of the political spectrum. But don't worry, even those on the left will join up because once they start to learn about what libertarians stand for, even people on the left, even people that identify as liberals, especially the classical liberals, they'd be like, wait a minute, these guys espouse the same kind of stuff that I promote, especially in the social sphere. Maybe not so much on the economics, although if you're a classical liberal, even the economics, you're going to have to love the guy. This being reported by Marie Daniel Smith, August 24th, 2018. Halifax. A Conservative Party policy debate ended in conflict on Friday as dozens of people failed to have their views on supply management heard. On Thursday, Maxime Bernier said Conservative support for supply management was one of the reasons he was quitting caucus and forming a new party. Ending the system that puts quotas on the production of dairy, eggs, and milk and limits their imports with tariffs was his biggest promise to members during last year's leadership race. Yeah, so Bernie's against socialism, full-on central planning of the economy, and I would imagine most Canadians truly are, and you dig down deep and get right to the bottom of what they truly stand for. After the kerfuffle on the convention floor, several young delegates told the National Post they were now more likely to consider supporting Bernier. several young delegates, like I said, the old folks, maybe some of the old hacks, maybe some of those, like I say, those are that represent those decrepit types among the Conservative Party. You know, those people that just are so complacent they don't even know how to think critically about anything anymore. Yeah, they're still going to support Scheer and the Conservative Party. They're brand loyalists. But like I say, the younger people, apparently, not so much. At a convention center in downtown Halifax, 3 groups of delegates had been handling 76 resolutions to alter the party's policy book. 2 of the groups were able to deal with 24 and 26 resolutions, respectively, within the 3 hours allotted. The third group, which started late, did not get all the way down its list. At 4:30 p.m. local time, the chair tried to wrap up, but several resolutions, including the last, which sought to phase in supply management, had not been addressed. Gee, I wonder why they would put it there at the last, right? Like I say, these conservative, the only thing they want to conserve is their cronyism and their central planning, quasi-socialist fascist regime that resides in Canada, has resided for too long. So once again, it's liberal light, folks. It's leftist light. Because, as I've said in other videos, liberalism and conservatism, these terms are so misrepresented today that none of them actually represent what their own particular ideology is supposed to stand for. So I'll just say collectivists and central planning hacks and those who seek out to use politics as a means to subjugate the people to the political elite. That's what we're talking about here. Anyways, I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video below, but I just want to point out that, hey, another revelation is coming late, and it's so early. It's only been a couple days. Damn, like I say, we haven't even had time to get things ironed out here. You know, the people that promote liberty, you know, people like myself, people like Maxime, people like Tim Moen, people, listen, I'm not going to name drop everybody, but there's a lot of us out here, folks, and we're the leaders of liberty. And we've been staunchly supporting those who stand up for those very important fundamental rights and principles that is espoused in the philosophy of liberty. And we're seeing that our hard work and our efforts are finally paying off. Well, and as it should. When you give people objective truth, reason that's logically consistent and moral and ethically sound, who would reject that, right? Only those who have been heavily indoctrinated by the political propagandists and the political pundits that reside and resound in the established media and those established parties. Like I said, people, liberty in Canada is on the rise, and we are a force that cannot be stopped. So get on board. You can adopt the philosophy of liberty now or later, but at some point in time, you'll realize that it's the place to be. It's a Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.